I'll make the motion.
Jill, can we second? Jill, will you be the second?
I'll second.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Grant makes the motion, Jill seconds. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Any nays? Very good. The motion carries. All right, we are waiting for our representative from Veris to join. Somebody's teaching me. Enjoy the parent night in the background.
They're in there killing it
They're
too.
doing
Yeah.
it. Do we have any information? We can move on to the board business and circle back to that.
She confirmed that they would see us tonight on the link.
All right, all are good, we can move on to the board business, and move on and circle back to the financials when Veris joins us. Very good, all right, next item on the agenda is the board business. The first item is name bank signers. In communication with all of our financial institutions, we would like on record a motion to change signers on all bank accounts to be the current principal, the current board chair, and the treasurer. So that minutes would reflect that as those positions change, which makes it an easier transition. And Anderson Brothers had requested that, and we will forward that to Truist as well.
Let me see.
Any questions about that? Any discussion? Okay. Treasurer's Nancy Ford. And then that will change over in July when we have new officers. It would just, you could submit those minutes for who's in those positions.
That would give me a phone number.
When your transition. And Mary Allison recommended that as well, the language. Okay. So do we have a motion to change signers on all bank accounts to the principal, the board chair, and the treasurer?
Sorry.
I make a motion that we change the signers to the board, including the principal, board chair, and board treasurer.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this before, but would it make more sense to have, like, what is the frequency of actual check writing? I mean,
It's more access to the account also.
this
Sharon
is
can
for
explain it better.
authorization to sign checks.
It's not
or-
necessarily paper checks.
Not
Right.
paper checks.
It's just, it's bills that go through bills.com, so if any invoice that the school gets, it goes through bill.com.
For
But the
approvals.
banking
Right.
is a little different, we don't really use it, we're not going to the bank as much.
Right, but I'm talking for like a day-to-day operation type of you
Everything
want
goes
that.
through bill.com,
Okay,
and it's
Veris.
signed through, yes, Veris,
okay.
our CPA.
So this isn't the day-to-day
No,
purchasing
No.
something?
No.
no,
Okay.
we very
It's just
rarely use
over
a
like
paper check.
signatures, is what they call it, signatory.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that did bring up a point. Will it be two people at all times, or just one person?
3 people.
So,
All
so let's
three have to
just,
sign?
all three have to sign, let's just say you just, that we're going to, what's the program again?
We take all of our invoices, go through Veris.
Yeah,
which is
okay.
a piece of Veris that's called bill.com.
Okay,
Okay.
in the event it has to be a paper check, physical check, will it be 3 signers or 2 signers?
It's just one signer on that,
Uh-huh,
which is me,
okay,
and it's typically, we use it for maybe 2 different things. The mowing is one thing that we use it for,
Mhm.
but even when I do that, I have to copy it, send everything to bill.com.
okay,
Everything has to be approved through them.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, now, I'm on with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
check writing, that's a very
Yeah,
limited
okay.
use. and
I know there's
only-
more to it than just the check writing, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering about the day-to-day.
Yeah.
It's the money market
We need-
accounts, all of those things, so that,
Right, okay.
access for that.
Okay,
Okay, so Latanya made the motion, that's good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second for draft. Is there any other discussion? Questions? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Very good, the motion carries. All right, the next item on the agenda is the Form 990. That is the nonprofit paperwork that has been prepared by Veris that accompanies our nonprofit status and is filed with our tax return. And we require a motion from the board to authorize the board chair to sign the 2025 990 form as prepared by Veris. And that's uploaded into the Dropbox.
it wasn't, but it will be in.
Oh, it is.
I just saw.
It is.
I'm
Oh, you
looking
did?
at it.
Okay.
It's in
It's
Dropbox,
on,
I'm looking
yeah,
at it.
yes, yes. Yes, we had to update changes, for board names, board members that were on the board at that time, so it reflects.
Okay, I see.
You see it? Mhm. Reflects through June 30th, 2025. So the year July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Okay, any questions about that? Nancy, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I just have to keep you on mute because my dogs are not cooperating.
Okay, thank you. All right, so do we have a motion to authorize the board chair to sign the 2025 990 form as prepared by Veris?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Clay makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Nancy seconds. Okay, any discussion? Very good, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Any nays? Motion carries. Last item under the board business. There is a school calendar in your packet there, and it should be, it's in Dropbox, it's in Dropbox, yeah, so yes.
Yeah.
There were a few changes, and I'll let Sherry speak to that, that were,
This is the most recent, we had a meeting yesterday with the South Carolina Public Charter, and they had a few parameters within what their expectation are, that I had to go in and make a few changes and adjustments to this calendar. So this is the most current, and theirs were just certain days that they wanted used for makeup days. Even though we are an e-learning school, as an e-learning school, you get 5 days. If the building has to be shut down for weather or power or whatever, something in the building facility wise. But we still have to put in 3 additional days. So we had to go in and just make a few arrangements to that, which was really just the 19th. I took it from a professional day to a day that's a potential makeup day. So they like to have the professional days, like for teachers would be the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. And then we have our work days, and then the additional work days, 1 in January and then the 3 at the end of the year. So it's a very simple calendar because this is the student one.
And it kind of mirrors Horry County, right?
It does. It does on everything, I wanna say, except for the 19th of February. And then we do get out of school a few days earlier because we tighten up the schedule. Yes.
Because Easter is the 28th of March.
and then Friday, so you will have virtual classes on the 26th? Okay. Anyone see any other?
Those are, so I can keep count of the 45th day, the 90th day, the 135th day, because those are things that the district wants. So I just keep count of the numbers in the month that we were in school, the days, for my counting.
Is that interim and report card?
Well, honey,
Is that for like interim and report card?
yeah, so 45th day, they do a data draw on the 45th day for budgeting.
Yeah.
And again on the 135th.
Okay.
So they set up our report card, the parameters for us, and then Sarah can do the scheduling from there.
on the student, is there a way that we don't have to have it on the student calendar? Or can we like put it to where we, like, there's something, cause it is kinda confusing when you look at it, like what somebody might say, like, what is that number?
21.
Like, I'm just wondering if maybe
Before I
like,
post this
okay.
on a website, I'll take
You would
that
take-
out.
okay,
This
yeah.
is just mine.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering, if that was gonna be removed, or you could just, if you were gonna keep it like days in school, 21, if you had to keep it on there, just so that people knew what that number was.
Yeah, I'll take it. I just do it for my own town.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So this is a.
Okay. Alright, I'll just fix my box,
It's, yeah, it's for
Midterm.
Congress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's no school that day.
What day is that?
cause it's, they use the
Election
schools
day.
as like the
November
voting
30th.
center.
Every other year, the state of South Carolina has to have that day
Yeah.
off,
Okay.
Yeah.
on every even year. We know that.
Yes.
Not error.
State law, that's right, we try to be open one year. No, you're not.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
it was done, we'll remember now.
Okay, so I have time to plan vacations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the revised 2026-27 CHS academic calendar? Emily makes the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Grant, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Very good, the motion carries. All right, we are going to move on to the principal's report.
This too should be in the Dropbox for y'all. If you have any questions, you can look at it prior to, but, today, just a few things. Our enrollment's at 276. And then Amy will speak to you all, when I finish up here real quick on just the enrollment process and where we are at this point in the game. Campus safety, we did get our occupancy, which we were thrilled about. It's been sent to the lenders. And it's up on the wall in the office, so we're very happy about it. We just got it yesterday. We do not have any testing to discuss at this time. School events and community and staff engagement activities are all the things that are going on this month. One of the things that I want to bring to your attention that we were invited to this year is the Fox Fest Music and Art Festival. It is led by one of our former parents and Mr. Walker, who does our Cameron work here, and our English teacher, he's leading it up, so we will have kids that are gonna perform for 25-minute block at 12:30 on that day. This is in Nance Plaza in Myrtle Beach. It's just a music festival and art, and then there'll be all kinds of student art displayed at the same time for the day. Sort of like an outdoor art festival that they're having. It's new, so we're just excited to be invited to be a part of it. So if y'all would like to come, this is a handout to let you know what's going on. The other things are self-explanatory. I would like to recognize tonight, that we did have a young lady go to the state archery tournament, and we will have her here at one of the board meetings at the end when we do some celebrations. Her name is Deasia Steves, and we are incredibly proud of her for her archery talent and skill and participation. She and Ms. Thompson and a few other students went this past week, so they were really excited. That, and then we did have, the South Carolina Public Charter District spoke with us yesterday. They came and took a tour of the school. It was a very positive experience. We were very impressed with just their organization and their planning, and we have it very clear to us what we need to do moving forward. So we're excited about that. And Ms. Annie, you wanna talk about enrollment, honey, real quick?
And Suzanne.
Okay, so just to give you some numbers, last year when we opened enrollment, we were only at 78 applications at the end of February. So February 28th, we had 78 applications. This year on February 28th, we have 178 applications. So that is a huge jump from last year. At this time, we are on a wait list for our ninth graders. We have 17 on the wait list. Currently, in the last week since we opened up the next round for the lottery, we have 10 applications. 9 of those are freshmen, so they will also be added to the wait list. Right now, we have 73 fully completed registrations. That means that they have paid, they have completed their registration, uploaded their documents. We have 15 completed registrations that we're waiting on payment, so we're at almost 90 fully ready to go paper-wise. We are looking at seating 120 freshmen. Like I said, we are on a wait list for 17. We're seating an additional 25 for our sophomores, seating an additional 17 for our juniors, and 9 for our 12th graders. This is due to trying to even out the count for each grade, right? So our freshman class will be our biggest class, and then we're gonna try to increase that to try to even out the number. So we're roughly looking at about 370 for the fall.
Thank you. Anyone have questions?
I have a staffing question. Is the plan to beef up ninth grade?
Oh, yes.
Staffing big time?
All the way around.
What is our goal class size?
20 to 1.
Okay.
And welcome to the budget.
Okay.
What was your number again, you said to even it out with 10?
Yeah, 120, 25, 17, and 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, we have 11 seated for sophomores, 15 seated for juniors. We don't have any seats seated right now for seniors, and like I said, we're already at 120 for freshmen at this time. And it's only March.
Yes, great job.
Sorry, I have another question.
Just because, and the reason why I have
No,
questions
sorry.
is because like I went through this last year, like my girls just came last year. So I can't remember, does it say on there who needs transportation? Like if they might need transportation like on the initial?
Yeah, so what they do is we create a Google Doc and that's on the website, and so when people call or we tell them you go here, and if they're interested, they put in their information, including their address, because that's how we build the bus schedule, so we've started that.
Do we know how many people, like, is there a potential need for another bus?
It's
so
too
far?
early to tell.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we just opened that up,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Amy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. So, the next item on the agenda is public comment. We're still waiting for Representative from Barris. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment. So we can wait a few more minutes.
Sherry, can you call them or no?
I don't think she heard you.
Sherry, can you call? Can you call them or no?
If they would give me a number, I would be happy to. I do not have their phone number. I told her that.
Yeah, it clicked me right in when I clicked you. It says join. Can we make sure it's not asking for?
I'm trying to get Suzanne in, and I can't seem to copy the code to give, for it to work.
The one that you sent Jill, when I clicked on it, opened up. So,
It did?
yes, it did. So I don't know if it's a technology glitch, which it could be.
Okay.
It was hard for me to get in too, so I don't know what the issue was.
Look at the link. Go to the link, I can go straight in. I don't know.
Mine says you'll join the meeting when someone lets you in.
So how did they get in?
I can't get on my phone because I'm doing a backup recording on my phone. So I can't do it.
I emailed them. I don't know what his fault is.
Yeah.
I'm just running.
Yeah, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, I just,
I clicked right on it.
Could it also, do you have a Gmail account?
yeah,
That might be it too.
yeah.
So like if you don't have a Gmail,
You have a
and you're
Gmail?
just trying to click right in, see, that's what it is.
Yeah,
So like with Google Meet, if you don't have a Gmail, it's gonna do like a
Yeah.
weird verify type of thing.
Yeah.
So that could be
Yeah,
the issue.
the letters and things for yourself.
Or
That
if you're
actually
logged into your other Google account, like your personal
Yeah.
Google account instead of the coastal
Well, it
one.
always asks me which one I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, but I
See,
think,
I have a Gmail account, but it doesn't ask.
who sets up the links?
See, it asks, every time I go, it asks me which account I'm going to.
Normally,
Normally,
Someone that's
somebody
not
else-
here.
Okay, so I think that that's just like a simple like toggle off, that like you're not required or you don't need.
so normally
something.
it's through Zoom. Zoom has a 40-minute
Yeah.
you have to be done in 40 minutes unless you have a paid
Yeah.
version. The school has a paid version, but we cannot access that because
Gotcha.
someone's not here to access that.
Yeah.
So I just quickly made a Google Meet
Okay, gotcha.
because we needed
That's
more than
okay.
40 minutes, they said.
Yeah.
But then we also were told we have to have a backup audio, so I'm recording on my phone.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'll get my computer and see if I can.
Yeah, I think it's just like the settings for the links. Hi, Janera.
I'm getting ready to send you an email with the link, so you'll be able to also present, okay? Okay, all right, we're gonna hang up and then, we'll send you the link right away.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janera.
No problem.
So, JQU, JQU dash TJW dash JGP. Is that what that says on your phone?
See, it says join me as my Gmail, but it won't let me.
Listen to him.
Let me just
Yeah,
got
you
in.
have it.
Yeah, that's so weird.
There she is.
Yeah, she's not in.
Oh, wait.
Oh, look, there you go.
I definitely got sound today.
There she is. I know that's what I was doing. Over there.
Oh my goodness. Oh, should we tell her she got in? She got in.
Tell Suzanne to check her email or someone will get you. All right, welcome, good to see you.
Good to see you. Sorry for the technical difficulties
It is okay, we get a new adventure every month at these meetings. We are learning, we're gonna have such a great playbook by December. Yay. Hello, thank you, Suzanne. All right, so we are circling back to the financial reports, so the January financials from Janara, from Veris.
Alright, let's see, let me go ahead and make sure I have access to share the screen. This is what I'm looking for.
Yay.
Yay,
Success.
okay.
Another success, we are so happy.
Okay, so no problem at all. We will take it from the top, and we are looking at the financials for January. So just kind of scrolling into it, you will notice this format does look a little bit different. We are kind of testing out some different reporting software, so this will look a little different from some of the previous reports that you guys have gotten historically. Obviously, the information will be the same, the format's just gonna look a little different.
Great.
So I will kind of skip through like some of the summary pieces, but you can see here on the executive summary, like it just kind of gives you kind of like some of the trends for like the revenue, operating expenses, and net income for January as well as fiscal year to date. And we've also outlined some key metrics. Sherry, if you guys want to talk about, like even still after you have a chance to take a look at it, if there is any feedback on certain things that you guys think would be very helpful to see that we don't have on here, by all means, feel free to email me and let me know. So, since this is the first time you guys are kind of getting a chance to see this. So we did also add like your debt service ratio and your days cash on hand, and those are related to the building. And so we did also kind of add some metrics that are kind of shown from like a graphic format, right? So that we can kind of see here in the revenue box, just as everybody tries to get the lay of the land, you can kind of see like the red line, which is obviously the tallest one, is your base funding. But you can also see levels on local funding, state funding, federal funding, so you can kind of see how your revenue coming in is trending. You can also see here that we've kind of created a graph that shows you, like, currently right now, this purple line is what you have budgeted for your surplus. And this blue line is showing you how you are trending in order to reach your surplus for the year. And as you can see, we are almost there. So we're definitely right on track with making sure we are reaching our budgeted surplus for this fiscal year. So that is definitely a positive. And you can also see, and these are related to the building financing, you have a days on cash on hand requirement as well as a debt service coverage ratio. And so this purple line, again, is usually your target. So like this line right here basically says, here's where you are supposed to be for days cash on hand. And this blue line way up here top shows exactly how many days cash on hand you have. So you guys are knocking it out of the park on days cash on hand. And then you can also kind of see that the debt service coverage ratio, we started calculating and looking at starting with November. So like, don't be alarmed that it's like flat for July through September. We started calculating that with the month of November, and you can see that purple line is where your debt service coverage ratio should be versus where you guys are. So like, you are well within your compliance guidelines for your debt covenants. So there are no issues or concerns there. And that just kind of gives you kind of like a visual representation of that, just kind of something easily digestible. Going into the statement of financial position, and that is, most commonly known as your balance sheet, we can kind of take a look at and see the right column, is actually going to be the month that we're looking at, which is January. And so January, for the total of all bank accounts, we are sitting at around a little over 1.2 million. And then if we take a look at any of the other current assets, and that is things like there's a capitalized interest account with Building Hope, one of the finance companies, there's a balance there, as well as some receivables that are outstanding, due from authorizer. The due from authorizer are usually things related to federal claims that we have submitted the documentation for, and then we are waiting to get reimbursed. So about half of that, I believe, is Title I, and the other half of that is gonna be probably IDEA. So those claims are out there, the documentation has been sent, we are waiting to actually receive the cash. And then you can also see due from Square as well as prepaids. So that brings your total other current assets for the month of January to around $292,000, bringing your total current assets to a little over 1.5 million. And then you have your fixed assets, and that is everything related to any type of construction, land, leasehold improvements, building, as well as depreciation. Those usually will get updated on an annual basis, so you really won't see too much of a change on those, kind of month over month. So if we take the fixed assets into consideration, they total around a little over 13 million. And then you guys have a security deposit related to your benefits that is out there. So that brings the total assets, I'll just kind of skip down to here, to 14.7 million total for the month of January, up around a little more than 100,000 from where it was in December at around 14.6 million. And so then looking down, getting into the liabilities, we can see, obviously liabilities are sometimes very much contingent based on like the timing on where the month ends, how often we release bills, because we do go in there every day. So the month kind of had a nice clean cutoff. So you can see accounts payable was nominal at like $143 for the month of January. That was still outstanding to be paid. by the end of the month. And then if we take a look at the credit cards that you currently have with Truist, the balance as of January, we're a little over 7,000. Those do get paid monthly, so that's just probably more so of a timing piece related to the transactions. And then you can see that there is deferred revenue that still needs to be realized. You'll notice on there, you see that that deferred rent is now zeroed out. I did actually notice that that should have been gone, since especially you don't have that line item anymore since you guys are in your new building. So that should have been adjusted off of there. And so I did reach out to Martin Smith, the auditor, as well, just to make sure that they were aware that, hey, we needed to make sure that this was adjusted off. And so they were glad that we gave them that heads up. So like, you guys don't have any deferred rent. So we did get that cleaned up in the month of January, as far as making sure the accounting for it is reflected correctly. And then there isn't any changes to accrued payroll and taxes due to state retirement, AFLAC. So your total current liabilities are now $119,000, a little bit more than that for the month of January. And then obviously you'll have your long-term liabilities related to the building. There are no changes there. Any payments being made are interest only currently, so you aren't going to see any adjustments to your principal. Your unrestricted net assets are currently at 1.5 million net income, and we'll get to that when we get over to the statement of activity. Year to date is currently sitting at around 443,000. So total equity is a little more than 1.9 million. And so liabilities and equity always equal our assets. So those are also sitting at around 14.7 million. I will pause there just in case there's any questions on the balance sheet. Okie doke. So going on down, you can kind of see here, and I'll kind of scroll through. I usually do look at things from like a budget perspective, but just since these reports are new, I wanted to kind of walk through what we're looking at. So you have your statement of revenue and expenditures, and you will see where things stood, and this is also kind of known as your profit and loss. And this is for where you guys stood as for the month of January, as well as where you stood for July through January. So this is your month, this is your year-to-date for statement of revenue and expenditures. But I think what really kind of adds context to these numbers is looking at it from a budget to actual perspective. So that is where I am headed. You can also see the statement of revenue and expenditures kind of broken out by month if you wanted to kind of see how things are trending month over month. There wasn't anything that really kind of stuck out that would warrant like, hey, January created some type of anomaly. But if we get down to the budget to actual, this is where we stand as of the fiscal year to date through January. So as if we think about it from the perspective, we are now, 7 months of the way through the year. So that's at around 58%, so a little under 60% of the way through the year. So if you take a look at it, and there is some nice graphical representations on here on how things are going, whether or not you're doing well. And so we'll start with local income, right? So local income year to date is currently sitting at around 161,000. It was originally budgeted at 53. So all of this green means you're overperforming in the local revenue category. So for that intent and purposes, the green is good. And those are things like your interest income, anything related to the school store, student fees, any type of pupil activity related income, all of that is located in that local bucket. And so then we get into our base funding. So base funding is currently sitting at a little more than 2 million year to date. We have around 3.1, almost 3.2 budgeted for the year. So to say that we're about 58 to 60% of the way through the year, we are at 63% of the way through our base funding budget. So we're definitely trending a little bit ahead. Base funding is directly tied to student enrollment. So as the enrollment increases or kind of has you structured the way you need to be, you can see that that is directly kind of driving what base funding you guys are allotted. Going into state funding, you can see there's a number of different categories. Sometimes those are definitely kind of timing dependent. You don't necessarily get those funds every month. So you can kind of see there that you have like your teacher supplies, refurbishment of science kits, National Board Certified, which is trending right on target. Teacher supplies happen a couple of times a year. And I think part of that is these two lines, as I'm looking at this, probably need to be consolidated. So we have teacher supplies here, and we have teacher supplies here. So some of it is, sorry, I don't want to get too many buttons clicked there. We can see that actually we're sitting at around 7,200 total, and that we actually budgeted, let's see, 7,650. So you kind of want to look at those two together, and we can work on kind of fixing that budget to actual so those line up a little bit better since they started funding the teacher supply money from a different revenue code. So if we take a look at our total state funding, that our full year budget was around 27,000. We're right now sitting at around 22,000. So we are at about 81% of that budget. And the largest component of that is really the National Board Certified funds as well as the teacher supplies. Going into our federal dollars, and these are usually our reimbursement-based money that we have. You guys have Title I, Title II, and IDEA. And so the total federal funds year-to-date are currently sitting at 62,000. The full year budget is at 73. We have been able to make some headway with the claims, as we saw from the balance sheet, since we have some outstanding claims that we're actually waiting to get the cash for. So we are at about 85% of the way through our federal funding budget. So we're definitely ahead of schedule for that with making sure that we're getting things claimed so that the school is able to get reimbursed for things that they have approved budgets for. So that puts total income at around, for year to date, a little more than 2.2 million. And that based off of a $3.3, almost $3.4 million budget, puts you at about 67% of the way through your total income budget. And that is ahead of schedule, saying that you're only at 58% of the way through the year, but 67% of the way through your income. So kind of taking that same lens, right, and going into the expenses side of things. Obviously your everybody's usual biggest expense is going to be personnel related, and that is for anything related to salaries, benefits, retirement, taxes. Any of those things are all going to be located in this group here for personnel. So year to date, we are currently sitting at around 1.2 million for personnel related costs, and that is on a full year budget of 1.8 million. So we're at about 64% of the way through the budget for personnel related expenses. Contracted services is spot on at 58%. We are currently at 176,000 for any type of instructional, special education, support services, or professional development. And that is on a full year budget of a little more than 300,000. So that is trending right on target with the budget. And so then going down and taking a look at supplies, supplies is stabilized at around 76,000 year to date. Our full year budget is at 135, so we're actually coming in a little bit under budget there at 56% of the way through our year to date budget. And so then going down and taking a look at our facility related costs, we can see that year to date we're sitting at around 220,000. Our full year budget is 475,000, so we're at about 46% of the way through our facility related costs. And if you want to look and see, like there's definitely some contingencies that we have budgeted as related to facility repairs and maintenance. Obviously, you guys are in a new building. We were very conservative in how we budgeted for potential costs or increases with coming into the new building, but we're obviously trending a lot lower than the conservative estimates that we have in there. So that's also kind of playing into why we're at 46%. And so then we have other expenses to where we are at 86%. Right now, our year-to-date actuals for that is currently sitting at 20,000. Our budget is 23. So definitely trending on the higher side there as far as the other expenses. And those are usually things related to things like bank fees, fees or insurance. But I think the biggest kind of piece of, let me see, I can actually probably, I don't know if I have it handy, but I can take a look, Sherry, and get with you with like why that might be a little bit higher. But I mean, the dollars in there, like I think the full year budget is 23, we're at 20. So we can take a look and see like what all is sitting in that grouping, so we can know the line item piece that is probably pushing that budget a little bit further along. There's around almost $2,200 in transactions that we wanted to get clarification on coding for. So we make sure we put them in the right bucket. So that is what is sitting in what we like to call our Ask Client account. And so then taking a look at the pupil-related activities, we can see that we are over budget there currently with having 51,000 actuals year to date on a $41,000 budget. And most of that is, the 41,000 is sitting with our pupil activities, services, and supplies. And that is where a lot of like sports related activities go. So anything related to like sports teams are going to be sitting there. So there definitely has been a bit of an overrun there. We're at 125% of the way through that budget for pupil related activities. But if we take a look at it from like a macro level and really look at it from all of the total expenses overall, year to date, we're currently sitting at 1.7 million, a little more than that, and that's on a $2.8 million budget. So we're at 62% when you take a look at things in totality. So we're still kind of like right within that range of, if we look at all of the different categories of expenses from a macro standpoint, we're still kind of in alignment, because some categories are running under, some categories are running over. So it's kind of still presenting in a way that where the total expenses are still within the budget in total. And so then you'll also see down here, and that's net operating income. We are remitting those interest-only payments. I mentioned that when we talked about why the loan balances weren't moving on your statement of financial position, because right now the only thing that you guys are actually making are going to be those interest-only payments. And so those didn't start at the beginning of the year. So you can see like for the month, that interest-only payment is currently sitting at around $52,000, but we do have $400,000 budgeted for the year, because we are expecting, I think, around close to maybe like 8 months of expense there for the interest-only payments. So that actually brings your net income in totality to right around $443,000. And the budgeted, full year budgeted surplus is currently sitting at $122,000. Any questions? Anything anybody want me to scroll back up to?
I like the new format. I wanted to say that. I think it's much easier for us to, as you said,
Yeah,
look at
good.
and yes, understand and have those visuals tied to it. Thank you for that. I know that was a lot of work too, trying out a new program. And
Tanera, will you schedule a time with me to go through some of the things that we're over on, so we can be real specific?
Yeah,
So I know what to
absolutely.
keep an eye
I'll
on.
shoot you over some time, Sherry, so that way me and you can connect, and then we
Okay.
can kind of walk through some of the more granular pieces on there about like where those costs are.
Okay.
Yeah, the pupil act one.
Yeah.
It's
Is
because
that
we
all?
added sports.
they,
No.
yeah,
And we
added
didn't.
sports that we didn't have before, but we have the increased enrollment, but also that's why you have
That's
those
what I figured.
higher, the funds, right, Janera, and I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly, but we're bringing in more funds locally based on
Correct.
those
So
things.
if I
So
scroll back up to
that
like
was
the
way
local
above,
revenue.
and that, those are coming in to cover some of
What sports
those.
were added?
What sports were added?
Girls basketball, soccer.
And golf.
Golf was there?
Golf.
We're not doing golf.
We're not gonna do golf.
I just had a quick question
I think
with
we planned for it, and then we didn't have enough kids for a team.
Yeah.
teacher funded and national board. Is that the one that's coming from the state, or you?
Yes,
have to-
those are state funds.
Okay.
Janelle, let me ask you a
Questions do we
question real
have?
quick. With the teacher, the national board, does that
Mhm.
automatically draw, or is that something I'm gonna need to do to make sure, like, is there something I need to do to make sure that's paid, or is that just divided up through the months? How are teachers paid through that?
They actually get it monthly through their pay. Like,
Okay.
we definitely like
Okay.
pass that straight through to those certified teachers so that they get those funds, because you get a certain allocation per teacher.
Yeah.
So like those numbers are predetermined, so like ultimately they get those additional funds and earnings.
Just regular pay?
on, correct, on their regular pay. There isn't gonna be anything that you would need to do to trigger that payout.
Okay.
That should already be happening, but happy to confirm, because typically that's something that we set up at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Great question.
Very good. Anyone else have questions?
I have a question not related to this, but still budget related.
Okay.
Okay. I remember last month, was last month when we were talking, you were at the Title I
Mhm.
fund thing? And there was like Title I money that was like, oh, you have to spend it by a certain date, right? Did we decide what to spend it on? I can't remember.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, that's what I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
And I think, Janelle, I don't know that I'm not sure the board is aware that the way the district is having to do it this year, normally we have extended time to spend it, but
Yeah.
they're cutting us off March 30th.
okay,
Everything has to be accounted for and paid out
okay,
because of the situation with the district.
okay,
So that's what's putting us a little ahead on
Okay.
all that Title I stuff and all
Yeah.
the funding of those things.
yeah,
So we'll max out at 100% of that hopefully.
Gotcha.
It'll be March the 30th that they're making sure that like that's our cutoff.
gotcha, okay.
Typically, some of those will roll over for
Yeah.
us, and we did talk to the new district about that yesterday.
Gotcha.
But go ahead, Ann, you can
Yeah,
speak to
and,
it.
and also upcoming is the PACE night, and that's also gonna be a Title I update meeting, and we'll discuss that as well, the updated, why we had to change the budget and what we changed it to. And so part of the budget was already set for, certain supplies like books. And so when we were at the Title I conference, we came across some really good speakers that had really amazing books. You know, one of the things that we found that was lacking was helping students plan for what past high school looks like, and not just on a college level. And so after doing some research, I found this amazing program. It's called Velocity. We just had another meeting with them today, and they walked us through the program. And it's a program that's built for anywhere between 5th grade up through 12th grade. And so it's based off of a story base. It's a gentleman that has a business background but actually got into education. He was a K teacher. And so while he was in education, he found the same thing, that there was lacking of those hard conversations that students just weren't having early on to say, what options are there out there? And so if you know, we do advisory every Wednesday with our students, and that's also been a little bit of a weaker point to make sure that we're doing it with validity. And so we've done a lot of planning of what that's going to look like for next year and how we can really hit our students and use that time efficiently. And so with what we've purchased through the Velocity program, that will be for our sophomores. So it's almost like a sophomore forum. And so we figured we're working on purposefully separating each advisory through each grade and what that's going to look like. So right now we've purchased a large sum of books for teen social skills. Mr. Walker found this great book that he's working with his class, and so that's going to be what our freshman forum advisory will be based off of. And the plan was for teachers to meet and study that book over the summer and be ready to go for our freshmen, because we know, right, when they come in, we're still middle schoolers, we're working on those social skills. Some are homeschool children, so that's a big piece for 9th graders. The 10th graders, we thought, what can we start early to start those conversations? And so we figured sophomore year would be great to start those conversations of, what do I want to do when I grow up, kind of thing. And so the Velocity program would be one that we would work on with them. And so the great thing about this program is everything is handed to our sophomore advisors. So they come in, they do train the trainer. He'll come in the summer and work with our teachers, and then he actually comes in every month. But it's not just for teachers, he also works with the students. So getting students to buy in, making sure that everybody's participating. He's also a lead speaker, so we're looking at that for next year to include him in coming and being a speaker to our students. And then, of course, junior year, we're very strong in WIN testing, and that goes with the college and career readiness. And we are working with the State Department on that because they provide free, we like that word, free training for our junior advisors to work on what the WIN testing and that college career piece. And then, of course, our seniors would be working on, we're looking at what their senior projects and what they want to do as a unit for their senior year. So we're being very mindful of how we're going to separate that and finding that was our weaker area. And so between the Velocity program and then the different books was a huge piece that we thought that would be well, and where we can spend the money quickly.
Yeah.
Right? And we can stretch it because that program then can carry on, and that's something we can do every year.
Okay.
I have a question when
Yeah.
you said stretch, because I've been in a Title I school
Yeah.
for all my life.
Yeah.
Even though the money is cut off March 30th, but I'm hearing these programs for
Next year.
next
Correct.
year.
But the, doesn't have to be specific in when the programs
Oh.
are starting.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I was advised in very well how to word it and have it,
Oh,
so
okay.
we're purchasing the program,
Yeah.
but we don't have to show when we're using it. It's not like it's going to
Good,
expire. 'Cause
smart.
that was my question
Yes.
today was,
Mhm.
is it a problem if we purchase now, but we're not planning on
Yes,
it?
uh-huh.
And he said, absolutely not. And those-
It's a wording game.
It is a wording game,
Uh-huh.
that's what
Okay.
it is, yeah. No, absolutely, because, yeah.
Perfect. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's like all towards advisory essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, and it hits like, not just like, because we focused in the past so much on social emotional, and there's other areas. And so this also does a lot of soft skills with our students, including still those social and emotional areas. And just starting those conversations earlier that then we can start building on. And it also helps with teachers' kids too in building their portfolio. So really ultimately sophomore year, they can build that portfolio and bring it into their senior year. He is a wealth of knowledge, great resources, just to get some of our students thinking that things they may never know. You know, like I always say, my daughter's a freshman and all she knows is me, social work, and education. There's so much more out there.
Yeah.
You know, like she has marketing this semester, take it, you may love it. So just bringing more opportunity for kids to say, oh, there's more out there, you know, outside of Myrtle Beach, so to speak. Because, you know, they live in their little bubbles.
And then also providing consistent programs for everybody, so
Yeah.
it's not like you get this, and you're gonna get this in advisory,
Right.
the freshman class
Yeah.
might be getting this.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
provide us more consistency across the grade level.
So you guys have the class change essentially for advisory, which they kind of
They
do
do
now,
that now.
but they'll like
Be
by
more-
grade.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And it'll also help our teachers, you know, our teachers have so much on their plates already, that this actually will,
Yeah.
it won't be so much putting more pressure and more things for teachers to do.
Yeah.
And it's starting planning very early on to support
Yeah.
them. And those conversations might spill into classrooms, you know, especially, we talked about part of that program for personal finance, because they do a lot of the adulting stuff. And so a lot of these skills then can build onto other
Yeah.
classes, to build into other classes.
Yeah.
It sounds
That's
like
awesome.
a nice
Yeah.
Yeah.
build up from the freshman year.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
started next year sophomore year, but it's something we can take.
Mhm.
And,
The freshman class will actually have a whole 4
Yeah,
years.
that's nice.
Yeah, and I love the fact that very hands-on, he'll actually come here. He's actually
Yeah.
from Sumter. He lives in Atlanta, but he's a South Carolina man. So he's super excited to come in here and just.
Do you guys mind if I jump in? Does anybody have questions?
No,
Sorry,
I know.
I know that's almost like it's not about this.
We'll keep talking after, but Janara, and you're working side by side with them to make sure those funds are utilized, right?
Yeah,
So,
Sarah and the whole
yes.
limestone
So,
team,
and
so.
Annie's gonna tell us more, but if you all don't have any more questions for her, I'm sure.
Thank
I
you,
can keep
Janelle.
talking.
I do have a question. Will the teachers be getting any training as far as this curriculum program goes?
During our professional
On how to
development
teach
time next year, Jill, that's what they'll be working on.
Great.
All right, well, if there are no questions, Janara, I hope you have a great evening. And thanks
All
for
right,
all the
everybody
work
have a
you
good
do for our school. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you. Have a good
Definitely, have
night.
a good night.
No, that's great. I
Well,
love
Annie,
that.
you can continue now.
Oh,
I know she wanted to go, so I had to let her go because she's sitting there waiting to see
Oh,
if we
yeah,
had
yeah.
any other questions.
have any other questions?
Any other questions?
I didn't. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
as a
super
teacher, I
excited.
want
That's a
that and
great-
they have to plan.
Yeah.
And I know it was a really good
Everyone
process.
loves
So
it.
it's
They
a
have
great
us
Also get that professional development piece, which we've
Yeah.
always been able to, seem like to purchase a program.
Yeah.
But we can never be enough to do the whole thing with
Yeah.
with the onboarding piece of it, so
Yeah.
we just really wanted.
And it helps because we're really diving more into career clusters, you know, that the state pushes, and we're looking at more of what more can we provide our students, and so that's a good try to wrap around as well.
Yeah.
And it gives a lot of added support. One piece that we talked about today I loved because it's also for parents, so there's a huge piece of it that can be sent home for parent education. So I really like that as well. And then also one of the books, the speakers, is called a parent dictionary, which I think is so cool because I've already used it because I'm not in geometry, my daughter's in geometry. But it's called a parent's dictionary, and so it kind of breaks down little things like, it really can be used for all grades, especially for high school. I don't know if you guys, you forget, you know,
How to do things.
Yes. So it kind of breaks it down to where you can open it and it gives you like, instead of having to Google it, it's a parent's dictionary. It's pretty cool. So we did order those both in Spanish and English for next year, and we can hand that out during orientation in August, just to include everybody.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you all had found, I know
Me
there was
too.
some
I was
concern about
excited.
having to hurry and rush
Yeah.
and making sure
Yeah.
that.
That's
Because
how
I
we
wanted
wondered
it
if
to
it
be,
was
I wanted it to be meaningful, where we
Yes.
just didn't order something and it sat.
Yes.
We're also, part of the money is also used for another agency that we found at the Title I conference. It's AI coaching,
Okay.
and it's for teachers. It just takes away the pressure of having somebody sit in your classroom and staring at you because they're watching your every move. It's what's really cool is that you set it up in your classroom. You can put it, they do all of the state standards, including it. If you want to ask them specific questions, maybe what your weaknesses are and what you want feedback on, you can put that all in there. And so it, basically, you're doing your lesson, it's watching you, it answers, make sure you're hitting the standard.
Oh, it's like an AI
It's
observation.
AI observation.
Yeah. Administrator.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
And it gives all the feedback, quickly, straight to the teacher. And so it also helps, you know.
It is really cool.
It helps admin too, saying, okay, you know,
Yeah.
so when you have those talks,
Yes.
okay, let's set your goals, and so that was really, it was amazing. They showed it to us when we were at the conference, and we were like, yes,
That's
right?
cool.
So that's something else we're purchasing with the Title I. Yeah, to
Very
help
cool.
our teachers.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mimi.
You're welcome.
Next regular meeting date is April 14th, 2026. Do we have a motion to adjourn at 6:58 PM?
I'll motion.
Christine makes the motion. Do we have a second? I will second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Aye. All right, great. Thank you, and thank you to our team members that were on virtual. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
He has worked with some good districts.
Yeah, he really is.
Oh my gosh.
He put his, not just the talking, like he approved and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlotte
Is
Mecklenburg,
that the one because
Sumter,
kids?
Unities, has some big ones.
Yes.
What's his name?
Mario.
He used programs in like juvenile detention.
Yeah. Mario.
Homelessness, yeah, he's used it in some.
So Dr. Carpenter for the risk assessment audit, we're looking at the last week of the month. 23rd through 27th in the board retreat. And I guess he'll let us know when to do that week, how long we need, how we schedule it. I know some people have a schedule soccer. Archery. Yes. Oh, on the 28th? Oh, perfect. Do we know the time? Is it all day?
Seriously.